Dear colleagues, I think this was an interesting and excellent workshop on what we want to have about science in Europe. And of course, we could not cover all topics, especially not the case of young people in universities, which would be an extra topic probably. And what was mentioned in our last part also, we did not talk about career pathways outside the academic systems, which is also an interesting topic and would be a full day, an extra full day. But nevertheless, I think, and I'm grateful that all the speakers really went to the topic of the day, and I'm very grateful for that. Now, before reading what we prepared, I would like to say a word, who is the originator of this document. When we in Portugal started to discuss how we should approach this topic and how we should do it, it was clear from the beginning that President Aires Barros said we need at the end of this workshop a declaration. It was a must. And so we drafted this declaration. We sent it around to all academies. All academies could respond. Quite many of them responded, and we also got the input of some presenters of today's meeting. So we took the comments, and I think we improved now the paper. And now I would like to read the paper, and then we should have a quick comment if we agree to what has been said and drafted. Actually, most of you agreed already to that. So let's quickly read that we know what will be published after this General Assembly. Can I have the slide? Here we have it. The run-in is probably less important than our recommendations, but nevertheless we should read that, and I think all day long it proved true what we had prepared and expected and hoped before. We, the European Federation of Academies of Science and Humanities, ALLEA, bringing together eminent scientists and scholars, I hope there is no contradiction here, from 58 member academies in over 40 countries from the Council of Europe region on the occasion of the General Assembly in Lisbon on 23rd, 24th April 2015, express our conviction that the aims of the Lisbon Agenda and its successor, the Europe 2020 strategy, remain necessary for sustainable economic growth, environmental balance, social cohesion, and long-term prosperity in Europe. I think this was carefully discussed in the morning and in the beginning introduced by Professor Carvalho. Welcome that the majority of these targets continue to be incorporated in the current Europe 2020 strategy, particularly the aim to achieve a knowledge-based society and economy through fostering science, research and innovation, was also carefully presented in the morning. Assert that the European research area must follow the principles of excellent research and science-led innovation encompassing both fundamental and applied research. I think this connection, fundamental and applied research, was also well presented and made clear through all the day. Realize that the objectives of the Lisbon Agenda and Europe 2020 have not yet been fully achieved. Yes, we all know this is a process which has to continue and will continue. Note with great concern that recent proposals of the European institutions towards boosting job creation and accelerating economic recovery entail significant cuts to the budget for research and innovation in Europe. This is our concern, which was also expressed in the last weeks. Believe that these cuts are not in the best interest of realizing the goals established with the Lisbon Agenda and now reflected within the Europe 2020 strategy. We know the discussions now in the Parliament of Europe, and there is a movement. Affirm the need to strengthen the role of evidence-based advice in the European Union's decision-making process, namely by improving its institutional design in order to deliver adequate responses to the multiple and complex challenges the EU is facing in this critical period of its history. I think that was also mentioned, especially also by Sheard. And now comes the point. Therefore, ALLEA appeals both to the policymakers in the European institutions and to the member states. It's not either or, both are responsible, to follow through on the measures that are required for achieving the aims that were set out in the Lisbon Agenda and the Europe 2020 strategy, namely to continue to support the excellent Horizon 2020 program at the level originally agreed in the multi-annual financial framework starting in 2014 in order to maintain Europe's position at the forefront of research and ensure that newly designed funding schemes are developed that prioritize this goal. I think the morning session and all what we heard in the afternoon support this sentence. Second, work to develop scientific and research capacity in all European countries such that they can each contribute to advances that tackle the challenges which Europe is facing today. Support and nurture the development of a generation of early career researchers and provide them with adequate career opportunities. And this sentence could not have been better underlined than by the remarks of Professor Conde, Dr. Fortes and Dr. Henrik. Especially the nurture and support is something which has to be defined in a specific sense. And the question, if this includes European careers, is something we have to think about and elaborate. Number 4, take steps to enable and promote scientific excellence in Europe and therewith boost its international competitiveness, such as through the enhancement of the European Research Council. And I think Gerd Luting had made very clear in his presentation how intelligent the systems they have been creating and how they operate on it, and helpful this is for us. 5, design and maintain sustainable research infrastructures which are capable of keeping pace with innovation. Again, the afternoon has shown innovative principles of how we can work and do work in research. Number 6, build a system for reliable and impartial evidence-based policy advice in order to ensure that policy decisions are taken on the basis of scientific data and rational arguments. And I come back to what Gerd Luting said in the morning and what tomorrow morning our colleague Hüttel from Eurocase will present again. And we will discuss as ALLEA in our business meeting, not if, we will discuss how we can do it and how we as ALLEA can especially contribute to this endeavor, because there is no doubt we are needed as one of the 5 academy groups which have now formed and come together, as you nicely showed. If there is no contradiction now, I would like to ask one further question. I learned during the day, starting with Gerd's point of these startup grants for the young entrepreneurs, which is partner of the ERC, and what we heard in the afternoon now also with our younger active researchers, if we should not add another sentence, another point, it's not final, but something like enable young researchers with improved grant systems to create new businesses, if applicable. Something of this kind in order to make that case as well. I think that is one lesson of today, which I think should be included now in this paper. And then we would have 7 topics, and the number 7 is anyhow a mystic number, so we need actually 7 as a number. Do we have any comments? Because there's advantage. If we agree on that, we cannot only publish that, but we have a longer break until we meet again. So, questions? Yes?
I have a question and comment. Yeah? The 5 points are going more to the maintenance of the current structures and not as a suggestion to the politicians to increase the financial support. And likewise, for example, just to the infrastructures, it's only the maintenance, and not the innovative improvement of the infrastructures for future actions. So I think we should not stay with the status quo, but we should suggest to the politicians to invest more and to improve the situation.
Well, without contradiction, but the design means kind of forward activity. Is that not enough? Yeah. Take a micro. Wait a sec.
Oh, sorry. I'm just asking to whom we address this declaration. To whom? To Brussels people?
It will be a press release, and then we will send it to science organizations and to political organizations, especially in Europe.
If it's to Brussels people and to politicians, it's too long.
Okay.
They don't read more than half of the page.
Dr. Carvalho, is that true that politicians cannot read more than one page? Thank you. There was one more. Yes, please.
Just 2 points. First of all, we are in reasonable agreement with the first 6 points, the Swedish Academy of Sciences. Perhaps I would suggest that when you mention European Research Council, you should also mention the importance of basic research. You use the concept of basic research. But the 7th point, I don't think I have a mandate to agree on that point. So this is anchored in my academy, but the 7th point is not, I'm afraid to say.
Can someone answer? I had a problem to fully grasp what was the point.
Just one quick comment. If it is for the politicians, I think there should be crisp and clear instructions, and no academic cloudy words. I think that's quite important, in order that they understand and also react.
Okay, danke. Thanks. Yeah.
William Duncan from the Royal Society of Edinburgh. I would like to speak in favour of your last amendment. This is not something we have been able to discuss within our academy, but I can say we have run schemes like this for over 20 years. We see this as a very important part of creating a skill set and an economy that harnesses the talents of all the young people that are coming through the higher education system.
Okay, thank you. So we will take, micro on the right.
I just have a comment, starting from your last point, that indeed there are now a number of academies, groups of academies, that would follow the advice, give advice to the EU. Wouldn't the same idea be a better one, that these propositions be done collectively with the other groups of academies, rather than by ALLEA itself?
This is exactly what we will be discussing tomorrow. Academia Europaea, ESAC, FEAM, ALLEA, Eurocase. We are all now building a consortium, and we will do it together and jointly. This is exactly what we will be discussing tomorrow. I think it's a breakthrough which we reached recently. What we will do, we'll take again what you were telling us, and by tomorrow we will finish it and try to send it out. I think this is now the status, what I understand from you. Thank you very much for the help in preparing this statement, for the short discussion we had now. And now I would like to say we have earned a break, but I do hope that at 6:30 we will all be back. Thank you very much.